As he was ordered, Wobble had taken off for the outskirts of town in his search for Marshall. Along the way, Wobble did his best to resist crying until he had separated from the others. When he did, he finally unleashed the waterworks. He didn't like anyone seeing him cry. It was bad enough he was the youngest out of the group, even younger than Everest, who had only been a Paw Patrol member for a few weeks, but he didn't want to be seen as a crybaby. However, this was one moment he would let go of his desire to look more grown up. Guilt hit his heart by the neck as he wished he could take back what he said about Marshall. He was a great pup and a great Paw Patrol member. By the time he finished crying, he arrived at Farmer Yummy's and Al's barn. The recently married couple had agreed to help to find Marshall by searching their fields. It had been in half an hour since then, and Wobble had been calling for Marshall without stop, even trying his communicator tag. Stopping his bulldozer in front of the farm, Wobble looked around again for any sign of the Dalmatian. Suddenly, he gasped with joy upon seeing what looked like a cloud of pups of black dots between the stack of hay. I only know one Dalmatian that has that luck. He joyfully drove his bulldozer to the hay pile to use it to move the hay, only to realize that was one of the cows instead. Hey, you're not a Dalmatian. You're not even Marshall. The cow rolled its eyes before walking away. Wobble sighed before dropping the hay bag. He's not here. Maybe I should check the other areas. But what if he's already long gone from Adventure Bay? The thought he could never see his buddy again made Wobble whimper. I can't believe I said those things to him. Sure, he screws up. All of us do. Even me. Heck, I screw up a lot when I first joined. Okay, Wobble, you can do this. Wobble muttered to himself as he leaned forward from the seat. It had been a week since he officially joined Paw Patrol. While he hadn't been sent on missions yet, it gave him plenty of time to learn how to use the bulldozer Ryder had given him as the new searching pup. At that moment, he was still getting used to the controls, trying to lift the large hill of sand as practice. Turning his truck, he howled with the engine roared as he shouted, "Wobble on the double!" He pressed the paw down on the gas, only for the bulldozer head backwards instead. Gasping, the bulldog realized he had left the stick in reverse. More like Wobble's in trouble. His bulldozer continued to move backwards until he slammed into a tree, nearly knocking the wind out of Wobble. Moaning, he turned it off and sighed. I'm never gonna get this down. Hey, Wobble, what's going on? Wobble turned his head to see the Paw Patrol's rescue fire pup, Marshall, walking towards him with a smile on his face. Hey, you trying out that bulldozer Ryder made? How's it working? It works fine. It's me that's not working right, sighed Wobble, sinking into his chair. Really? Asked Marshall, jumping up and landing near the bulldog. What's wrong? I keep screwing up. I want to be a Paw Patrol member so badly, but every time I try to do work this thing, I keep forgetting something, said the silent pup. Maybe I'm not cut out to be a construction pup. Hey, don't think that. If Ryder thinks you're perfect for the team, then I trust him. Besides, everyone screws up. I even did when I started using my fire truck, said Marshall, putting a paw on Wobble's shoulder. What do you do? Marshall blushed and chuckled. Every time I used my ladder, I used to always come down riding on my butt. I got really sore and red to the point where I could be named Marshall the Red Butt Pup. Bubble snorted before laughing out loud, imagining the sight of such a thing. That's so funny. Did you get better? Oh, I did, but I still fell on uncontrollably. While also getting a ton of other crutches, as you well know, pointed out Marshall. Like this afternoon, when you slip on Zimmer's marbles and slam on your head into Walter's pizza? Asked Bubble. Yeah, but that was worth the pepperoni, said Marshall, rubbing his stomach and licking his lips at the memory. The point is, we'll all screw up a bit. You just need to keep practicing. You'll be awesome in no time. Okay, let's give it another go, shouted Rubble. He turned to the bulldozer and this time remembered to put on drive. Pressing forward, Rubble's grit his teeth with domination as he lowered his large blade and began scooping up the sand. Yeah, I did it! The two dogs began to bark with joy until Marshall gasped. Wait, Rubble, you forgot to stop the blade! The two watched as the scooper continued to join going up until it reached the top and tipped the sand to pour on top of them. The two dogs held their breath until they covered in pile of sand, head down, popping out of it. They looked at each other and just laughed at the sight of themselves. Hey, were you done? Do you want to watch Apollo the Super Pup with me? So asked Marshall. Rubble tilted his head. Who's Apollo? Rubble chuckled at the memory. True to Marshall's word, he did get better as he went on, and was just as good as with his friends. He then whimpered again when he realized what he had insulted the very pup who had given him the confidence to be who he was today, calling him a screw-up. But Marshall helped save the day so many times, even with his screw-ups. Yet I yelled at him, all for messing up my favorite cartoon that he introduced me to. A cartoon was just a cartoon. It could be seen again, even on demand. But a friend was impossible, vowing to never see another Apollo cartoon until he found Marshall. Rubble continuing on his search. Zuma had searched every beach there was in Adventure Bay, but no luck finding Marshall. None of the people or animals on the beach had seen him either. That left only the ocean, nearby the islands, to search for his buddy, but Zuma doubted Marshall was any of them. Granted, any of the islands would be a great place to run away, but Marshall would know that Zuma would tackle him down with his hovercraft. The silent report in, Zuma hits communicate tag for Rido. Zuma here, no sign for Marshall. I'm gonna try Seal Island. Any of the other nearby ones? I doubt he went there, but we can't leave no place unchecked. Search wherever you can, Zuma. Rido out. Zuma sighed as he heard airfane and turned on to wide to see Wally the Wallace waving at him, finishing his mouth. Hey Wally, have you seen Marshall? Wally shook his head, but it turned it for the fish out of his mouth and hit Zuma straight in the snout. Zuma took it off, and Wally caught it again. Ugh. Thanks anyway, dude. Wally offed goodbye as Zuma began to wonder about Marshall again. If Marshall had run away, those words might have been a lot harsher than they meant to be. Zuma didn't hate Marshall. He really cared about him a great deal. He was brave, funny, and always willing to be helpful. As the second youngest, he saw all the peers as his big brothers or sisters. Chase was a responsible big brother. Sky was the grateful sister. Rocky was the smart brother. Bubble was, despite being younger than Zuma, was the playful little brother. And Marshall was the fun big brother. The kind who keep you smiling no matter what, and with Ryder acting like a father figure to them, it was like having a family. And we hurt our family by hurting Marshall, thought Zuma. Turning his head, he noticed a bow rental shop that brought Zuma back towards his first mission, where he just saw how awesome Marshall was, not to mention how respect he was to his duty as a fire pup. Although he'd been hoping his first mission as a member of the PAW Patrol would be big, Zuma didn't expect it to be this big. An electrical fire had caused a bow winter shop to catch fire. The entire team who needed to handle it. Marshall took the lead by using a fire truck to spray water on the building while Chase kept the growing crowd away from danger. Sky was keeping an eye on things in the air, but made for the smoke, while Zuma and Rocky were in charge, making sure the nearby boats didn't catch on fire. Zuma was surprised by how calm the team was. That only had been optional for a few months, but they were acting like pros. Zuma, having only been around for 2 weeks, couldn't help but be impressed. While Rocky was using his tools to unlock the boats and trying them to the hovercraft, Zuma was ordered to beam them the other side of the bay, as far as the fire as possible. "That's the last one, Ryder," said Zuma, calling his new owner. He watched as Rocky tied the rope at the last boat of the harbor. "Great job, Zuma and Rocky. You guys head back here and... Help! Help! That's my store!" shouted a voice of a woman. Zuma activated a view screen on his tag and saw a blonde woman talking to Ryder. "That's my shop! Oh my gosh! My son's in there!" Both Zuma and Rocky gasped at the thought of the kid inside of a huge fire. Zuma had never seen a fire as big as this one before. If a human's in there. "Ma'am, which floor your child's on?" asked Marshall, running to view. "Second floor, by the back of the house." Marshall looked to be in deep connection before looking at dimension appear on his face. "Off? Oxygen max." A red max suited on Marshall's face as he turned to Ryder. "I'm going in, Ryder. Have someone else take the hose and keep spraying the shop." Ryder nodded. "Okay, Marshall, you head inside and find that child. Be careful. Ready for a rough rescue. Zuma, you and Rocky head back here to help with the fire." "Green means go! Let's dive in!" Rocky jumped back into the hovercraft as Zuma went for full speed ahead. Along the way, Zuma couldn't help but worry if maybe Marshall wasn't over his head. "Hey, Rocky, will Marshall be okay?" It's Rocky and Marshall, Zuma," said Rocky. "Sorry, my speech impairment is something I have to live with," replied Zuma. Rocky nodded. "Anyway, Marshall will be fine. He's been trained to do this ever since he was born. He'll be okay. Despite his goodness, he's a good fire pup." Zuma barked in agreement, soon made it to the closest harbor, with a flaming shop close by. Before Zuma could follow Rocky out, an explosion from the shop nearly blew the pups off their paws, and the giant fire pod shot out into the air. "Holy cow! Do you see that, dude?" shouted Zuma. "Yeah, but Marshall was still in there," shouted Rocky with horror. Praising his tag, Rocky called out, "Ryder, is Marshall okay?" "I don't know. I'm trying to get in contact with him. Sky, where did that explosion came from? Second floor, and I could see that fireball all the way up here." Zuma gulped. If it was really that big, then did that mean that Marshall and the child were... "Marshall here. I'm okay." Both Zuma and Rocky sounded relief upon hearing the teammate's voice. Ryder then spoke. "Marshall, what happened? It's my fault. I had to dodge a falling piece of wood, but I knocked over a gas can. The explosion blocked my exit, but I found the kid. He's okay, but we need to find a way out before we run out of air. Can you see any way out?" asked Ryder. There was a brief pause before Marshall answered. "Yeah, I think I have a way, but I need Zuma's help." What do you need me to do, Marshall?" asked Zuma. Marshall giggled. "Sorry, still getting used to hearing my name sound like that.
Anyway, there is a window in the kids' room that's right over the water. We can jump in and Zuma can bring us to land. Sounds like a plan. You hear that, Zuma?
Asked Wido. On my way, shouted Zuma as he turned his hovercraft back on and made for the shore. Although the flames insulted him, Zuma wasn't going to be a scary pup when his friend needed him. He reached the end with the window with the flames hadn't touched yet, and saw the window Marshall was talking about. Tapping his communicator, Zuma said, Marshall, I'm here.
Great. Watch out below. Off. Axe.
The sound of the window smashing alerted Zuma to the window when he saw a red axe smash it up, giving Marshall a clear path for the water. The kid and the blonde boy, who had been around 70 years old, was right beside him. Getting an idea, Zuma cried out, Off, boy! Boy! They folded the hovercraft open and shot off a boil, with a line to the water. Marshall, have the kid jump into the boil. Great idea, Zuma. We're gonna jump. 3, 2, 1, shouted Marshall as he and the kid jumped. The kid screamed a bit, but he managed to land perfectly in the boil, while Marshall splashed into the water next to him. Spitting out of the water, Marshall pushed the kid into the hovercraft when he climbed in. Thanks for rescuing me. Can I get my mom now? Asked the kid. Sure thing, little dude, said Zuma with a smile before turning to Marshall, who shook himself dry. Dude, that was awesome. Thanks, said Marshall with a smile. He tapped his tag. Marshall here. We got the kid, Wido. We're coming back to bring him to his mommy.
Great work, pups. See you soon. Glad to see you still one piece. I thought you were going to break your promise for a second there,
said Chase, trying to sound professional, but Zuma could distract a hint of worry. Marshall chuckled. Don't worry, Chase. I never break my promises. Marshall out. What promise are you talking about? Said Zuma. Marshall turned to Zuma and said, nothing. Just something we did when we were younger. Let's go back to shore. I got a fire to put out. You're set up for more? Aren't you tired? Asked Zuma. Is the fire still burning? Asked Marshall with a grin. Then so am I. He was a hero that day, thought Zuma with a smile, as he gazed at the near repair shop. And not just that day. The time he sacrificed his chance to be the world's fastest fire pup. The day he won the basketball game for Adventure Bay. And when he saved those kitties all on his own. Marshall's been a hero, through and through. Marshall wasn't just a fire pup. He was the most awesome fire pup. Zuma only hoped he last saw him and continued his way towards Seal Island. Marshall sighed in relief as he came out from behind the tree. Nothing like a pit stop after a long drive, and this time, no angry squirrels. He had made a good time so far as on his journey to Jake's Mountain, decided to stop for lunch. Reaching to his bag in his truck, he dug out some dog biscuits and began to eat. Honey-flavored. Wobble's favorite. He frowned upon thinking of his former friend and thought about how much fun he and the other pups used to challenge Wobble to eat as much as he could. For a little pup, he sure ate a lot and made a lot of messes when he did. Marshall chuckled, thinking of that day. Wobble took the first public restaurant, and Wobble ended up eating the entire buffet in an hour. Good thing it was all you can eat. Marshall shook his head. No, don't think about them anymore. They don't want to be your friend, so you don't need to think about them. He packed his food away, finding himself no longer hungry. Maybe I just need a good rest. That's all. He lay on the grass and closed his eyes, hoping to get some Z's before hitting the road again. It was actually kind of nice sleeping on the wilderness instead of a lookout. No sound of Rod or the other pups doing what they were doing. Not even Zuma standing beside him. The two of them curling next to each other. in case he had a bad dream. Zuma always used to have those, so each of them sleeping next to him in few weeks in the lookout. Marshall began slowly to lose focus and fell into a good sleep, but never noticed the tear dripping down his cheek.